Hello, everybody. How's it going? It is I, Pallas Athena, your god of wisdom, warfare, handicraft, guardian of heroes, protector of Athens, and the most excited boy in all of Olympus, because I get to talk about Tron with these two lovely people. Boys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves? Starting with Nick, I guess.
You go for you.
All right. Okay, fine. Okay. Hi, hello, I am Nick Nocturne of Nightmind over on YouTube, the Nightmind Live extension over on Twitch, and a member of Astroline. I am quite often seen as a big cat monster with some bat elements, a demon, an incubus, if you will, who loves purple and coffee and being a big sweetheart, which might be the theme of the night.
Being purple.
Yeah, just purple, yes. Out of everything I said, just
being purple.
being-
Certainly nothing else.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, has the cornerstone on those things. Hi, everyone. My name is Xander Netherbrand of First Stage Productions EN. I am the Incubus host of Club Netherbrand. I am an Incubus who loves purple and drinks lots of coffee and enjoys being a big sweetheart and is just absolutely charming. I'm also being dragged into this by my two dear friends, Athena and, of course, Nick Nocturne. And all of us are just getting together to be chaotic and have an overall good time. Wild Dio.
It's gonna be very wild, Dio. Before we do, though, I gotta say a big thank you to Victor for the super, thank you, and Ellie for the gifted Memby, thank you very much. How much about Tron do you guys know before I begin teaching, before I begin my wisdom?
Oh.
Okay, so I've seen the film, the original '80s film, years and years ago. Like must have been in the mid 2000s. Okay. I also once bought a PC game for it that would not download, which broke my heart a little bit. And that's as far as I go.
Damn. All right. No, I feel like I know the game. That's unfortunate. Zanny, how much do you know about Tron?
There was a movie.
That's fair. You know about as much as Digital Warrior in the chat.
Okay, I know that there was a movie, and I know that it was one of the first films to ever incorporate three-dimensional animation in a space. I know that from the CGI that was used in the original Tron, it actually spawned essentially the entire CGI industry and popularized it within the film genre. I know that it was actually that same sort of CGI that caused the essentially not only a huge leap forward in computing via the fact that they were using CGI, but also paved the way for modern Disney animated films, which are animated also in three dimensions, like Toy Story, how some of the people from Tron ended up indirectly having hands in Toy Story, or directly having hands in Toy Story and stuff like that, or how it began to popularize the sci-fi tech genre of film afterwards.
Yes.
How it paved the way for stuff like The Matrix or other sort of related media.
It's true. It's true.
It's
without Tron, a lot of the advancements in CGI do not happen. So it is exciting. You know, Tron is a big trailblazer in that sense. Also, Victor, thank you for the super, and good luck with your workout. Everybody here likes a good workout.
Oh, I got back from the gym. Yeah. I messaged Jim. I messaged Nick on the way back from the gym.
Message Jim from the office? That's crazy.
I messaged Jim on the way back from the Nick. Don't get me wrong, you're always welcome to give me a workout, but also, No, I messaged Nick on the way back from the gym this morning.
That's so funny. I'm all about. I haven't been to the gym in a hot minute. I'm actually all about calisthenics right now. That's where my heart's at right now. There is.
You can build a lot of body weight exercise work. That gets you all throughout your body equal.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see.
I've also been trying to do recently. I've been trying to do 100 burpees a day. I just want to see if I can do it. So far, can't. But maybe eventually I can. We'll see. Who knows? Sana. But yeah, it's exciting.
Oh, the discs. Sorry, that's one thing I remember from Tron. The discs.
Oh, I heard something. I was like, what?
No,
Like,
no, not
what
the
are
dicks.
you talking about?
Not the dicks.
Yeah, I was like, the dicks?
No.
Is that a thing? Was I watching the wrong Tron this whole time?
No, we've got enough dicks here. No.
Yes,
The glowy discs.
They are. They will be. They are a thing. They will be importante. As we go. That is a thing.
Sorry, I totally interrupted because I remembered they existed
No.
and I thought they were cool.
They're the
Light
coolest.
cycles.
Light cycles are also very cool. We will talk about light cycles at some point. Yes, they light cycles are also very exciting and cool. Wow, Athy. What do you mean? I didn't do nothing. I'm existing.
It was also one of the. I am also remembering that Tron was one of the worlds in Kingdom Hearts. I think it was Kingdom Hearts 2. That
Yeah.
they did
Okay. I did not. It is in Kingdom Hearts 2. It's also in Dream Drop Distance. But I will say, I don't cover it in this little like deep dive. At least I don't remember covering it in this deep dive. But if anybody, I've said a few times, if your experience with Tron is just Kingdom Hearts, that's actually totally fine. Like you still get, like, they do such a good job explaining like the grid and who Tron is, and then eventually like in Dream Drop Distance, like the sleeping world is actually like the Flynn's grid, and they explain what, like, that the original Tron is now this guy. We'll get into it. Yeah. Tron is in Kingdom Hearts. I thought it was just Disney. Tron is Disney. Tron is a Disney franchise. Always has been. Always has been.
Huh.
Yeah. Occasionally Disney does cool stuff like Tron or the Black Cauldron, depending on who you ask.
What's
The Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I've forgotten the Black
With
Cauldron.
Gertie.
What's
Gertie.
that?
The Black
Oh.
Cauldron was Disney's attempt to do kind of like, have you seen like the animated Lord of the Rings movies?
Yes, they were.
It's their attempt at like a high fantasy, a little darker than usual Disney. Like, they tried it and people hated it. Like,
Yeah, it was traditional animation. It was one of their pieces that just does not stick around anymore. And it did get some kind of, or am I thinking of the Sword and the Stone?
Sword
Because
in the
didn't
Stone
they do Sword
is
and the Stone
also-
too?
So Sword in the Stone, yeah, they do Sword in the Stone. That was like a little bit, because like that was better for them, like in terms of like high fantasy, because like it was still Disney whimsy, right? So like that did better. Black Cauldron is like dark and scary, and like it was not what people, because you know, like you see the name Disney and you expect a certain thing. Even Tron, like this upcoming, we'll get into it, but the upcoming Tron film, I'm like, this is gonna be fucked up. Like, just the way that they're presenting it, and everyone's like, but it's Tron. I'm like, yeah, but sometimes Disney does have that side of them, like Hunchback of Notre Dame, where they're like, let's just be crazy. Like, let's just go crazy. So I do think that we will be seeing a darker side to. How can you have a sub and not know that there's a Tron film coming out? How can you be an Armored BB and not know that there's a Tron movie coming out? All I talk about is Tron. What are you talking about? Yes, there's a Tron movie coming out. It's called Tron Ares. It's gonna be sick as fuck, yo. Are you kidding me? Except for the fact that Jared Leto's in it. That's unfortunate. But everything else about it's gonna be really hype.
Listen. It would be really cool if Jared Leto was in the new Tron film and, like, you know, he was like kind of unhinged, and maybe he had like a tattoo on like his forehead that said like "damaged" or something. You know?
No.
That would be wild. That would be great.
What if we all
That'd be
go into
wild,
theater
Leo.
and sit down and say it's Morbin time?
It's
As
Morbin
the-
time.
It's Morbin time.
I will say my only fear, right? Because everyone's like Jared Leto, and people are already trying to dunk on it like really hard, like before the movies come out. Like they're trying. The thing I keep seeing is like, why is the new movie set in the real world? Because that was the plot of the last two movies,
Yes.
right? Like, where's Daft Punk? They've been split up for 4 years. Like,
Oh, my boy, Giovanni Giorgio, come back to us. Bring back
Giovanni
Daft Punk.
Giorgio. Like, but like all these
people know the material, right?
what, and people are like, oh, well, how about like, why is it like this? Why that? Why this? Why that? And I'm like, because like if you watch the movies, it's very obvious like what is going on. You just have to watch the damn movie. It's not even like it's not even like Star Wars where you have to read like a bunch of supplemental stuff to understand like who Bip Fibdo is in the corner over there, like, or whatever made up name we're throwing at an alien. Like, it's 2 movies. It's not hard, right? Like it's two movies. There is supplemental stuff if you want it, but it is supplemental. You do not need it. These characters will not appear in anything. Like they are just there for the sake of it, right? If I hear the name
Tron
Beck,
is an in-flight movie.
yeah, like Tron is an in-flight
That's
movie.
my knowledge.
That's Tron as an in-flight movie is fine. Like that is fine. Yeah. But yeah, I 100%. I 100%. Also, the Wild Monarch, who I was like, how can you be an RBB and not know that? They're like, I'm one of Zanny's. I just got here. Like, it's like, I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Yes, there is an upcoming Tron film. But yeah, like people are already trying to dunk on it. I think mainly because Jared Leto's in it, right? And so they're like, oh, is it Morbin time? I'm like, no.
It's not
no!
Morbing time.
This is not Morbing time. This is Tron, goddammit. And you will respect Tron.
What if it's like Power Rangers mixed with Tron with Jared Leto? It could be like the Morbing grid.
The Morbing grid. Well, technically, there is a grid in Tron.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the Morbing grid.
The Morbin grid. Oh my god. No, I hate it. I hate it.
And he'll like morb all over them.
Oh, he's morbing all over the place. He got morb on my shoes.
I'm gonna morb. I'm gonna morb.
Guys,
Everybody back up.
What if 10 years from now we hear somebody say it's Morbin time and we just have war flashbacks?
Yeah. Oh my god. I wish that wouldn't. I hope that doesn't happen. Because the way that I love Tron is the way Roy loves Power Rangers, right? Like, because I'm like, I need this to succeed, right? Like, I need this movie to do well. I will cry if it does poorly. Like, I will be so sad. I will say the trailer looks amazing. It looks so good, and they got 9 Inch Nails to do the soundtrack, and I'm like, yes. Perfect choice. Perfect. Excellent choice in director as well, right? Like, everything's, like, we're looking good. I hate the Jared Leto choice, but, like, you know, other than that, we're doing good. What's Tron? Don't worry. This entire presentation is about Tron. So we will...
You are in the right place.
Yeah, you are in the right
down,
place.
citizen.
Yeah. Don't worry. Chill out. Grab yourself a cup of tea. Like, not that you're being... chill out as in, like, I'm not yelling at you. I mean, chill out as in, like, relax. Like, kick back, relax.
Get cozy.
Get cozy. Get real comfy.
Yeah, take off your jacket.
shoulders.
Do that
Take
thing.
off the jacket. Yeah. You know, like, get real cozy, you know? We're carefully optimistic. We are carefully optimistic. Tron has a lot of potential, especially, like, if they're doing a darker story, 9 Inch Nails as the ones being chosen makes so much sense. Because, like, they're just darker Daft Punk, right? Like, they're just dark, spooky Daft Punk, so I'm kind of here for it. Like, that's not who they are, for the record, but, like, that is just their vibe. Is spooky Daft Punk, so I'm like,
They can do the vibe.
Yeah, they got the vibe. Yeah. They helped with Quake. They can handle Tron. Yes, 100%. They are fine. They've got this. And the song they use in the trailer is like that, like sound. I'm like, okay, they nailed it, because it sounds like this is a sequel to Legacy. Like, it sounds like the Daft Punk album, just like distorted and like spooky. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you want for this. We see a cop car get sliced down the middle by a light cycle in the trailer, and it looks so cool. And don't worry, the cops are okay. It's a Disney movie. They didn't get sliced in half. The cops are fine.
Disney movie.
And nobody dies at a Disney movie. Everything's fine, unless you're a Disney mom, in which case, yes, you are so dead. You're so dead, bestie.
Aww.
But like, yeah, no. So they slice a cop car like clean in half, and I was like, oh, because it shows you like what would happen if like they were in the real world, and I'm like, we would die, like, because they are so overpowered. So yeah, like, it's exciting. But also, another reason why I wanted to do this with you boys is because the amount of people I'm seeing say, like, I didn't know there was another Tron. the trailer has 14 million views, right? But at the same time, that doesn't really mean much to the general internet population, right?
That doesn't really, like, in terms of like a movie trailer as well, 14 million views is not a huge amount. Especially like considering that's a film that's going to box office, I assume.
Yes, it will be in theaters. I kind of hate that they did that because as Nirgal in chat said, like, Tron is very niche, and I would prefer it stayed niche, right? Like, I don't think it has the... I think, like, in terms of, like, if the right team got on it and Disney treated it with the same respect it treats everything else, it could be a big box office success, but it's not right now, and I'm worried, like, that they're gonna pour, like, a bunch of money into it and then hope that it does super well, and then it's not gonna do well, and we're not gonna hear from Tron for, like, a couple decades, right? Like,
they're doing the thing where they doom it by over-investing.
Yes, and that is my deepest concern. But for the people who keep, you know, saying, like, what's Tron? Or, like, I didn't know there was another Tron coming out. Damn it, Zanny!
Me?
I can't breathe.
What did I do? Why did
I was like, I can't see. They can't see my beautiful face. I keep putting myself on the side, knowing what's gonna happen. Like,
I wanted to do it. You made fun of it last time, and I was like, I have to hit him with my wing at least once.
every time I'm gonna get smacked up by the wing. That's what's gonna happen every stream.
Wing boner.
A wing boner.
Exactly.
Wing boner.
Schwing.
Didn't you expect? You should have expected it sitting me next to Nick.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, look at him. What? Hey, yo, what that tongue
exactly?
Do, that's crazy.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Hey, whoa! Oh, the eyes glow too. That's so sick.
Oh.
I love it.
Sorry, can't control myself either.
Yeah, this is it's a all purple extravaganza. Of course, we were gonna be, you know, a little sussy, you know. So, for the people who are asking what is Tron, and for the people saying there was a Tron movie coming out, I think we should educate the people, you know? Electrify the boys and girls if we would be so kind, right?
Teach us, Athena,
Tron Legacy.
God of wisdom.
Teach me, senpai.
I shall teach you the wisdom of Athena. Bam! Tron 101, let's go. I'm going to share my screen because the boys can't see it. Okay. I was like, wait, I forgot they can't see. Hang on, one second. There we go. Slides. Behold. There we go.
Oh.
Tron 101 by Professor Athena. Certainly no other professor.
Do you have any glasses you could put on or anything?
No.
Oh. Okay.
I'm not in my armor. That's my professor mode.
Gotcha. Well, never mind why I asked that. Continue.
Ayo. It would be cool if I had, like, round glasses or something.
Yes.
Or, like, pokey hair. That'd be cool.
Round glasses would be, you know, no, just, you
I
can
have
continue.
I got these little glasses, but that's
Xanthian,
nice.
don't do this to me right now.
they go clear as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Tron 101 by
you
Professor Athena.
Tron 101!
Yes, Tron.
Tron. Focus. We must focus.
Okay.
We must focus.
Yes.
You might be asking yourself, what is Tron? Tron looks like that. That's Tron Legacy. With Sam and Cora, who gave incredible panic to many a young lad when Tron Legacy came out. Well, you see, Tron is a science fiction franchise from Disney focusing around a world within a computer. This series often follows programmer Kevin Flynn, along with the titular security program Tron, who is based off Flynn's friend, Alan Bradley. Together, they try to keep the grid safe, but are often confronted by evil programs and shady business shenanigans. Any questions so far?
None so... Actually, business... When you say business shenanigans... I'm
like corporate
big
espionage.
evil... Yeah, I'm assuming big evil overarching company has something to do with all of this?
Typically, yes. So there is a main company, which we'll get into, called Encom. And they are like the they're not really like the bad guy, but like control of Encom is usually like in the balance in each film. And the good guys get control of it. Sometimes the bad guys get control of it. And that is where the original grid takes place. And then eventually we get a second grid and yada, yada, yada.
Yes.
But yeah. And so the next question you might be asking, because I mentioned the word grid. What is the grid? Not the morphing grid. Not the morphin grid. That's a different thing. That's a different
Morphin
thing.
time.
It's morphin time. This is the grid. This screenshot is actually from a animated series they did called Tron Uprising, which is very cool. That's Beck right there. Yeah, it bridges the gap between the first movie and the second. So, the grid is a virtual world where most of the events of the series spawn from. The original grid from the 1970s was known as the Encom mainframe. This is actually where Kingdom Hearts 2 takes place. And much of that original grid was used as the inspiration for the Tron system, which was created in 1983 by Kevin Flynn. This is the grid we see in Dream Drop Distance for you Kingdom Hearts fans, but also the one we see in Legacy. Each grid is aesthetically unique, but carries the same purpose of the personification of computer processes. So the idea is, like, you know when you're downloading something, right? In that, it would be like like a program is traveling from one place to another, right?
Oh, so it's like driving on the grid.
Yes,
It's a big UI.
It's a big,
Okay.
it's basically your computer mapped out is what this
So, like-
is what the idea is.
So like my antivirus is like a dude with a shotgun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your antivirus
Yeah.
is Tron. Yeah, like your antivirus is
Okay.
like, it could be whatever you want, and that's the thing too, right? So if you, we'll get into this like in more detail, but the reason why I said like, Tron is based off another a guy named Alan Bradley is because when you create a program, the program's likeness is you, right? So if you create a program on the grid, it looks like you, right? So like if Kevin Flynn or Jeff Bridges creates a program, it's gonna look like Jeff Bridges because that's who plays Kevin Flynn, right? Like that's the idea. So Alan Bradley is played by I forget his name. He's brilliant. He loves Tron. I love that man. But he looks like Alan Bradley because Alan Bradley is the guy who made the security program. But yeah, so the grid and there's like cities where all the programs live and they hang out. Like it's super, like it's just your computer. What if your computer was a city? Like,
Okay.
cool idea. Who lives on the grid? An excellent question. I was gonna say like an excellent question, programs, but then I realized like you guys are not programs, you are users. Although are we programs because we're inside the viewer's computer right now? Would we be programs or users?
Why not both?
Bit of both.
Bit of both.
Programs are the human-like personification of computer programs. Each is made by a user. So Bruce Boxletter. That's his name. That's who plays Alan. Thank you, Mage. So yeah, the programs are essentially. And thank you, Tree, as well, and Nerdle. Oh my God, everybody corrected me on who that was. Thank you. So the programs are, just anybody who's, they're like humanoid, they wear the fancy suits, right? They wear the fancy, like, Tron suits. They behave like humans, generally speaking, because they are based off the user. And they are just the personification of computer programs. They don't need to, they do need to drink, but they seemingly don't really need to eat. They essentially just need to recharge, right? They can run out of energy and die, but they have to recharge. That's something we learn in like the TV series, that like they do need to recharge over time. But generally they're a little bit faster than humans, a little bit stronger than humans. They're basically like super soldiers in terms of like what they can do. But yeah, they're just basically the little programs that run around the grid. Next up is the user, humans who code and use the programs. Encom and other companies have found ways to send humans into the grid. So to digitize the human body, break it down into data, and then put it in the grid. Humans, or rather users, can kind of like interact with the grid in like weird ways because they are not programs, so they have like free access to do whatever they want. All right. There's like a scene in Legacy. Yeah, there's like a scene in Legacy where Flynn like puts his hand on the ground and all the lights in the building shut off because he could just do that. Like, because users can just basically like affect the code of the grid. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. By the way, feel free to jump in with questions at any point. Like, don't feel bad about interrupting. ISOs. This might take a little bit. Isomorphic algorithms are human-like creatures that appeared out of the sea of simulation and were meant to be Flynn's gift to mankind. ISOs are what Cora is. Cora is the girl from Tron Legacy. I forget her actress's name. She was very popular for a while, and then she just kind of disappeared. Can't remember the actress's name. The chat will correct me, I'm sure. But yeah, the ISOs were kind of a mistake. There's like this sea on the grid. It's the sea of simulation. It's just kind of like, I like to think of it as the recycle bin of the grid, right? And they just kind of like appeared one day. No explanation. They just kind of like manifested themselves. Which is kind of cool. Olivia Wilde. That's Olivia Wilde's character is an ISO. She's actually the last ISO because they get wiped off the face of the grid. Very unfortunate. There's a big war. They get wiped out. But yeah, the ISOs occasionally make appearances, but like mainly just in Legacy because like they're dead. So that's a problem. Grid bugs. This one's fun. The personification of a glitch. They are only there to destroy systems, and they can vary in size. That right there is what a grid bug looks like in the original movie. They are kind of wonky looking. I kind of like them. I don't like them. Like, they are kind of creepy.
This looks like the kind of thing that 1,000 of them come at you in a mob in a hack and slash, and you're just knocking out wave after wave of these things. Like they got 5 HP each.
Yeah. That's basically what they are. They vary in size, but they're usually like they're either like the size of a dog, or they're like the size of like a teacup, right? They're like they vary in size, but they usually come in swarms and they are very scary. The movies don't really use the grid bugs like a whole lot, but there is a comic where they are like a problem. And they are terrifying. There's a video game called Tron Runner, where they are like an obstacle, and I hate them because I always bump into them and they just mess up my flow. But yeah, those are the grid bugs. Any questions so far? Any questions?
No, but we do have Inaki in chat mentioning we might be blocking the text a little bit.
Oh,
you need to rearrange us.
Let me move them down. Let me move.
You have permission to handle me for a moment as you need.
I have a question.
You have a question? I have an answer.
I have a question.
Fire
What
away.
happened to all the ISOs?
So, the ISOs were unfortunately eradicated. We will go into greater detail on that, but the ISOs were wiped out by a program called Clue. Clue saw the ISOs as deviations from a perfect grid. Clue wanted to make the grid like perfect, like no faults, no anomalies, and he viewed the ISOs as an anomaly in his plan, so he had them wiped out.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. Very, very dark, right? Like, you are different to me, so I must wipe you out. Very, very
right.
Very gross, very spooky. But yeah, so what make I can't say that out loud, Joy, but kind of. Let's move on. How do they travel on the grid? An excellent question. I think some of you might already have an idea of how they travel on the grid. Maybe on one of these. The light cycle. Yes.
Ooh.
So, yeah, and you gotta have the music going. The inhabitants of the grid travel in many different ways, such as a light cycle. So you see these in the movies and the games. They are probably, I think, outside of like the suits themselves, I think the light cycle might be the most like identifiably Tron thing, right? Like everybody loves the light cycle, and the way these things work is they are basically just bikes, right? They're just motorcycles essentially that the programs use to dart around. However, sometimes these are actually weapons. The way the light cycles work is they can emit this thing called a light strip, which is this like line that travels behind the back tire. It's why the back tire looks a little odd. And if you bump into the light strip, it de-reses you. And de-resing means dying. So if you bump into the light strip, doesn't matter if you're a user or a program, it will de-res you. You will die if you touch the light strip. Yeah, you are just you are deaded. You are unalive.
You are deleted.
Yeah, you are deleted.
So, just for clarity's sake as well, because I have a little IQ brain. You said that people can be beamed into the computer from the real world.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that this is a you die in the game, you die in real life type thing, and that your body, like your physical matter, is transported in there, like you're like teleported in there, as opposed to it being like some Sword Art Online stuff, like your brain is in there, but your body's somewhere else.
Yeah, so it is physically you. So you are like the grid is a physical space you can go to, but you have to be like essentially de-atomized and re-put together on the other side, right?
Okay.
So yeah. Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase rules. Chat, focus. chat, wrong digital scape. Wrong,
okay, but
wrong
that makes
grid.
Sense.
Yeah, wrong grid, chat.
Wait, but I've seen that. I get that.
Yeah, I understood that reference. Yeah, wrong grid.
Wait, I understand
this. Yeah, different grid. The light cycles are supposed to be... Have you ever played Snake, like on your phone?
Yeah.
It's Snake. That's what the light cycles are. They're just like, what if Snake was a motorcycle? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Next... Light runners. Light runners are essentially the light cycles, but now put wings on it, and it can fly. Not many people get to use these. These are kind of like the special ops of light cycles. But essentially, yeah, light runners are just planes. They also have light strips. You can see them in Tron Legacy towards the end, and you can also see them towards the end of the Tron Ares trailer. These two light runners like fly in front of a recognizer. We'll get into what a recognizer is in a minute. They fly in front of a recognizer and like use the light strips to like block missiles. So like, yeah, it's light runners are just light cycles that have wings and they're cool.
Upgraded security.
Yeah. Light rails. This is just a light cycle but a train. This is actually how most programs on the grid actually get around. Not everybody has like a light cycle. They're kind of like hard to get, right? So most programs use a light rail, and
it's like the morning commute.
Yeah, it's essentially just the morning commute. And yeah, it's just a nice train, but it has like Tron effects. Just think of an actual like bullet train, but it has like Tron aesthetic on it. That's basically.
I'm picturing like the London Underground. They've run like crammed in and like getting in each other's space, except just Tron.
Yeah, but it's Tron, and everyone's like, "Move aside, program."
Just anything that doesn't smell like anything.
Yeah,
there's no scent.
There's no scent. No. Everything is I would assume, and I've heard, I forget who said this. Somebody said that the grid smells like petrichor, which is the smell of like the ground out around
rain. Yeah.
Because it's like either constantly raining or it looks like it just rained on the grid at all times.
Oh, I love it.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the general vibe of like the light rail. It's basically just the morning commute. Grid limos. These are basically just what it sounds like. They're a limo on the grid. I don't really feel like I need to explain that.
I want a grid limo.
Yeah, only like the most fancy of programs can like use this, because there actually is a hierarchy.
Could I not hire it for my grid bachelorette party?
No, you have to be like a CEO. But like when I say CEO, you have to be like a very high-ranking program, because there is ranking.
Browser takes the limo.
Your browser takes the limo.
So like the browser, or like the OneDrive, or
Yeah, like,
Or, like,
your
I don't-
most used.
like when you go into your core files, your hidden files, and delete System 34.
Yeah, that would gift you a limo for sure.
That gifts you a limo if you
Oh,
delete
yeah.
System.
Okay,
System
now I'm just
32, sorry.
imagining.
System
Now I'm
32.
imagining your operating system chilling in the limo, like sunglasses on, the full suit, with a cigar, and all of a sudden you just see the cigar drop out of their mouth. They lean over, go ah, and then they're gone. Just blow up in the limo,
Disappear.
and then the whole grid goes away.
Just oh no! That's so funny. Also, Cloudy, thank you for gifting a memby to Joy. Thank you. Yeah, the grid limos again, very high, very fancy, very high class. Recognizers. Have you guys ever played? I mean,
No.
I asked this, but I'm like, everybody's played. Shush, you played this. Space Invaders.
Yes.
Do you know, like, the mothership when it comes in? You're like, what the hell is that? Or like just like the aliens in that.
The one where it's
They
like,
look like
nee, nee, nee,
recognizers.
nee, across
Yeah,
the
nee,
cross,
nee, nee,
yeah.
nee, nee. Yeah,
Nee,
so
nee,
the
nee, nee,
recognizer
nee, nee.
looks like the little aliens in Space Invaders. Actually, you know what? I will look up a recognizer right quick so you guys can see it. But they are, you can see them in the first movie. I think they're in Tron Legacy, though. I don't remember them really being used much. But they are in the upcoming Ares movie, because we see them in real life, and this thing in real life is very intimidating. So hang on, this is a recognizer. It is huge. Like in Ares, they establish it. It's like the size of a a big building.
Ooh.
Like it's really spooky. So yeah, they are scary. Don't like them.
That's so cyberpunk.
It's very, the whole thing is very, like, the whole series is, like, very cyberpunky. It's Disney's Cyberpunk is, like, the easiest way I can sell the series.
Disney punk.
Yeah, it did so much to form that identity of what cyberpunk even
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, 100%. Natalie, I didn't feel the need to explain that, but yes, Natalie is correct. I just didn't want to overcomplicate it. But yeah, the cycle beams do not de-res you. You're just it's a wall, so you're moving so fast, bam, it kills you. I didn't. Yeah, there you go. Recognizers.
Crazy.
Very spooky, very scary. Solar sailors. Have you ever seen like the concept from NASA, where like they have the idea of like a solar sail, where like it's like you ride off the sun's light, and it like propels the ship forward. That's what this is. This is used for going very far away from the grid, right? Or not the grid, but like the cities in the grid. Because the grid is like obviously like these like cities, but there's these areas that are basically just a wasteland where you can't really, like a regular program can't go that far out because they would run out of energy and die out there in the wasteland. So the solar sail uses the light from the city to travel far out to the next city. So if you're going like really far, you need a solar sail. But yeah, they're pretty cool. I like them. And they look just like the concept art from NASA of like what a solar sailor is. So I like that they included that because I thought that was really cool. And it also shows that the programs are very far advanced for what they should be. They're pretty cool. But yeah, that's all the modes of transportation. But what do you do in Tron? Well, you play some games. What are the games? All right. Both the Encom mainframe, which is the grid in the first game, and the Tron system, which is the grid in the second movie, are inspired by games. Both have a culture of competition throughout various different games. These can be friendly, but occasionally feature glorified gladiatorial versions of the games as well. This is usually what comes into conflict with like Kevin Flynn, who's the main character. He does not like the gladiatorial element of it because it literally kills people. So let's go ahead and talk about the most played games. They are Disc Wars. So Disc Wars are where you take the disc on your back, what they call your identity disk. Your identity disk is literally what it sounds like. It has all of your information on this disk, but it also is able to be thrown like Captain America's shield. So yeah, Disc Wars, you whip your disc at somebody, and if you throw it fast enough, it can completely derez somebody. We've seen discs go clean through programs before. It is very fucked up. Now, obviously, you shouldn't normally, like, in regular Disc Wars, it would just hit the program, and, like, that would be it. It would just bump and bounce off. But because, again, the Encom system and the Tron system are inspired by video games, because that's what Encom is as a company. It's a video game company. Because of that nature, like, the grid takes on that nature. So it, like, has to... The programs feel like they have to play games, right? Because that's what they're created to do. So usually they're just for fun, but obviously when the bad guys take over the grid, you know, it becomes gladiatorial. So Disc Wars is the first one. Tanks! You'll never guess what this is about.
Yeah. I was thinking like tennis, like Super Mario Stars Tennis.
Actually, it's about big tanks that shoot each other.
Lois, I bought a tank!
Yeah. It's literally just tanks. Like, if you've ever played, like, the Mario Party 2, I think it is, where, like, it's their big heads on a tank, like, as, like, one of the mini games, that's what this is. It's a tank, and they shoot, and they go pew, pew, pew. I didn't mention them in transportation, because you don't really drive them around. you just use them here, right? But, yes, tanks are a thing. Light cycles. Again... Like I mentioned earlier, Light Cycles is essentially Snake. There's two teams, and you try to not kill each other. Except you do try, like, you're trying to wipe out the other team, basically. It's pretty fucked up, because if you hit the Light Cycle into the light strip, it'll fucking derez you, because the Light Cycles go very fast, so you'll just die. It's very fucked up.
Okay.
The Ring Game. This is tennis, Zanny. This is tennis.
Let's go.
The Ring Game is you put like a scoop on your hand. Your hand gets this like little scoop thing, and you grab like this little ball, and you bounce it off the roof, and your opponent has to try to catch it, otherwise it'll hit the floor around them. The floor around them is made out of rings, and if you eliminate one of the rings, that part of the platform disappears. So you have to try to knock your opponent off their platform. And that's what the Ring Game is. Here's some visuals here. We got the disc. We got Disc Wars. Very spooky, very scary. That's Sam about to break the floor, because you can actually break the floor. So that guy falls through the floor and derezes because he's a dummy. And then this is the Ring Game. This is actually from one of the video games. So yeah, you bounce it off the roof, and you try to stop your opponent from destroying your rings, and you try to destroy their rings. But yeah, it's like Hexagon Fall, and it's like Hexagon in Fall Guys. Yes, it is like Hexagon in Fall Guys. Yes, it is very, very similar to Hexagon. But yeah, so that's the games. Again, usually they're played for fun, but in times of strife, the games are used in a gladiatorial combat type thing.
Like bread and circuses.
Like what?
Like bread and circuses. Like, you know, let the programs be happy by killing each other with gladiatorial sports so they don't focus on how bad things are.
Yes, literally yes. Like that's it's very dark. Tron is Fall Guys. Kinda. like kinda, yeah. Kinda, if you think about it. So, what is the history of the current grid? For the record, this grid is probably not the grid we're going to see in Ares, but this is like the current grid that we are aware of. So, these guys, from left to right, on the left is Tron, in the middle is Kevin Flynn, and on the right is Clue. And we're going to go into who these beautiful bastards are. The Tron system began in 1983. In the aftermath of Kevin Flynn gaining control of Encom. Flynn wanted to create a perfect utopia within the grid, bringing Tron with him from the previous grid. So you can actually take a program from a previous grid and transplant them into a different grid. That is a thing that you can do. It's not common. Was that?
USB stick.
Literally, yeah. Literally, he put them on a USB stick and transferred them over. Normally, you can't do that, but I do think that's something that we're going to see more and more because obviously, like 1983, that probably wasn't very common, right? Because they had like floppy disks.
They had the floppy disks. Wait,
Yeah.
did you guys ever get to? This is unrelated, but also I'm so sorry. But
No,
also
no, no.
floppy disks.
This is what it's about. This is what it's about.
Did you guys ever play games that were on floppy disks?
Yes.
Yes. I have held floppy disks. I played around with those.
Look at this old man.
Damn. Okay.
I did as well. I had one game on a floppy disk that I remember as a kid, and it was on an old cream computer, like a brick computer. You know the one?
Oh yeah, the old
like
chunky computers. Yeah.
Yeah, the old chunky computers, right? And it was Populous the Beginning. If anyone knows that, it was a game
Damn.
on a floppy disk, and it was kind of like The Sims, sort of, or like Sim
Yeah.
City, where you were a shaman in like a weird, like other magical world. And the idea was you had to lead your tribe to like victory over the other tribes. And then once you did, you died and got reincarnated on like a new world for a new level. And like things happened. But I remember like the floppy disks were all in these little you get these floppy disk holders, these racks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where you'd have like
I forgot about
30,
this.
40 floppy disks in like a little library back to back to back to back next to each other with like the little sticky labels on the front of each one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For all those too young to understand what that even looks like, what you understand as the save icon in most programs
Yes.
is a floppy disk. That's that square thing that you can't make out what the hell that is, but you know it's how you save. That's a floppy disk.
Yeah. They were physical. That you like. They were discs that you actually held. But yeah. So.
Oh yeah, there were discs on the inside.
There
Yeah.
it is. There it is in chat now. That's
Yeah,
it.
there it is. That is a
Yeah,
floppy
yeah,
disk.
yeah, it's a floppy disk.
And they actually they were named properly. Those things would wobble. Like that was pretty cool. But yeah, no, I remember. I think it was like a vampire like text game that I remember playing on a floppy disk.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it was like Vampire the Masquerade. I think that was too.
No, that was later.
before.
That was
Vampire
way
the
later.
Masquerade
Yeah.
Bloodlines was later.
Yeah,
no,
was like,
I had
think
a
that was- yeah.
They
before.
had a lot of edutainment back then. I had
King's
a game
Quest.
Where, oh god,
Chad.
I had one where you had to solve like math sums, and it would take you through a haunted mansion at like castle, and you had to like
God.
beat witches by solving multiplication with a timer, and then defeat a dragon at the end of it by figuring out like again more math.
I loved like the old games. They were so fun. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah.
Now we're all talking about King's Quest. Yeah, the chat's like,
sorry,
oh,
I
King's
derailed.
Quest. Yeah.
Wait,
No,
what's
It's
King's
good to
Quest?
derail. I want us to have these like tangent conversations.
What's King's Quest? Because I'm still a very young incubus.
So King's Quest was like one of the early kind of fantasy adventure games. I don't think they make King's Quest anymore. But it was about like a family, like a king, his son who was a prince, and then his daughter, the princess, his wife, the queen. And so they would go on like adventures, and sometimes it followed different members of the royal family. But yeah, King's Quest. And then there was also Ultima, but we don't really talk about Ultima anymore. Same way we don't really talk about King's Quest. It's just they're old.
Right.
Yeah, forgotten relics of a much happier time. But yeah, bring back old games. The new games all suck these days. I don't know if I'd go that far. I like a lot.
I wouldn't be that boomer. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that
I would
boomer
be,
with it.
You know what? I'm not gonna go that boomer, but I am gonna say, okay, there was a certain renaissance back in the days when like games were being made by like a handful of people out of like their family's garage.
Yeah.
That they were doing for like the passion, and then it just happened that they would do well enough for them to support themselves for a few years off of it and make more games.
Yeah.
But like, you know, and now it's like multi-trillion-dollar corporations going like, hey, we gotta hit these targets because we poured stupid amounts into this. You know, like there was a little bit more like, I want to say it was a little bit more like there was a bit more freedom of expression back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you still got, like, you do still have games coming out nowadays of like,
Oh,
like
yeah, no.
Celeste.
We got
right?
indie games.
Like,
Yeah.
Stardew Valley is such a good example.
Yeah.
Right?
I understand where you're coming from with it.
I do
because
see.
the-
I see.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah, like Tron as a movie and a concept comes from the same like 20-year span of a very enthusiastic, creative, imaginative, and romantic time in which technology and the ideas of what can this become and what can we do with it was so new that every new endeavor, every team, every company, every startup, every person in their garage or basement or attic at home, they understood, I think back then, that they were on the threshold of a brand new era. There was just so much excitement and palpable newness to it all that it's just it was a very different energy than what we have now.
Yeah.
Very different.
When you can feel that through Tron, right? Like the first Tron is this like adventure through the computer and like what a fantasy, like what a fantastic world we're on the cusp of, right? Like we're right there, we can feel it. But what if we could like physically get there already? Like what if it was here now? And you see like that, like we were saying earlier, like Zanny pointed out, like it was like the cusp of CGI, the cusp of gaming, the cusp of the internet even, right? Like just like us building our way towards this like fantastic future. And then when you get to Legacy, you see like more of like the reality of it, where it's like, yeah, it is still fantastic, but like some things that we thought were great maybe weren't great. Right? And then by the time you get to Ares, like seemingly it's like, no, things have gone very wrong. Right? Like so you can see like the disillusion, right? Like we're not even in the grid this movie. We're like, screw the grid. Like we're trying to go back to reality now, right? Like it's like we want to go back to the way things were almost, right? Like of that, like you said, that imagination isn't there, right?
Yeah.
And
There
you
was
can
a
see that in
romance
Grid.
to so much
Yeah.
of between
Brave
the
New
80s
Horizon
and the
type
early
stuff.
2000s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we've got across the horizon. And we
Yeah.
want to go back. I don't like it. We've gone too far forward. Now it's like, yeah, listen, we've gone too far. Okay, I want to go back to the countryside now. Take me back to my farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some people say like, well, even like Tron fans are like, can we get the old suits back? I'm like, no. Like, there's some things I don't want to go back to. No, I don't want the old suits back. Like, I prefer the new suits. Like, no, we can't go back. But like, I like the idea. Yeah.
Sorry, it just popped into my head.
No, go for it.
discs.
Yes.
The memory discs.
Identity.
The U discs. Identity discs. That's it. The identity disc. If you, what happens if your identity disc gets destroyed? Because it has like everything about you on it, right? So
it can be destroyed. You can get a new one.
Okay, easy. I thought it was like an item that like if you got destroyed, it like killed you or something.
No, it's more like a wallet. Like, it's what if your wallet could kill people? That's an identity disc.
My wallet can kill people. I just need to try hard enough.
Yeah, if you throw it really hard. Yeah, like it could become an identity.
It's like that. It's like that stupid like thing that you see on like YouTube Shorts, where it's like, did you know that if blank was fired at 200 miles per hour at someone, it could kill them? It's like, yeah, if you fire anything at 200 miles per hour,
yeah, of course that would kill them.
Did you know?
Did you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Did you know? Did you know that if every bone in your body was laid from one end of the field to the other end, you'd be dead.
Then you die. That's wild, though.
Thank you, headless YouTube channel.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, crazy. You just don't want the bull helmets back. They literally look like hockey players in the first movie. I don't want it back. Like it's the new movie, like in the new style of Tron, they look slick. Like you guys have seen like those costumes where they look like bikers, right? They got like the helmet and they got all the leather and like the LED lights on the suit. Like it's just cooler. Like it's just a cooler suit. Like I love the nostalgia of it, but like no. Anyway, back to the lesson. Back to our regularly scheduled Tron. Flynn wanted to create the perfect utopia within the grid and bring Tron with him from the previous grid. Though when his son Sam was born, it became difficult for Flynn to focus on both worlds. So he created Clue 2 to be his hands within the grid when he was in reality. So at this point, Kevin has taken control of Encom. He is now the president of Encom, right? He is trying to create a perfect utopia within a new grid that is called the Tron system. But he also has a son named Sam who he is trying to be there for. So he is juggling 3 separate lives all at the same time. It is also around this time he had a wife. His wife sadly dies, and that kind of fucks him up, and he spends a lot of time in the grid, kind of neglecting Sam, unfortunately. What happened to Clue 1? So fun fact about Clue 1. In the original Tron, when he is, like, we start with him being ousted from Encom. He runs, like, a arcade called Flynn's, which is, like, the coolest. I wish Flynn's was, like, a real location. It's so cool. But Flynn's is, like, an arcade that he runs because he was kicked out of Encom. But he will occasionally try to crack into the Encom system using a program called Clue, which is just basically a... I hate to say it, but it's just like a virus. Like, Clue is essentially just trying to wipe data off of the Encom system, so it's, like, really, like, not cool. But the clues are constantly destroyed by Encom security. So in the movie, we see a Clue, who is, again, just looks like Jeff Bridges, get fucking de-rezzed by a tank to the face. And we find out that's Clue, like, 19. So I don't know why in Legacy they call him Clue 2. He's like Clue 22 at this point. There's so many Clues died before this Clue. Like, so many of them died. But it's just like, they just wanted you to know, like, it's Clue from the first movie, but, like, he's back. That's it. That's why he's Clue 2. It's just like, he's fine. He's a program. Like, he just redoes the program. So, but yeah, he's like Clue 2. Yeah, basically Clue 2.0 instead of, like, actually the second Clue. He's just like a patched Clue. But yeah. The 3 would create a near perfect system. Tron, Clue, and Flynn. But as the ISOs began to emerge, Clue became increasingly hostile towards the ISOs, Tron, and Flynn. Eventually, as he was made to create the perfect system, Clue turned on Flynn and Tron. Seeing the ISOs as an imperfection on his system, Clue saw to the erasure of the ISOs, leaving only Cora as the last living ISO.
Pause.
Yes.
Zanny, are you thinking what I'm thinking metaphorically?
Depends. Are you thinking what I'm thinking metaphorically?
Fall of man.
Oh, I
Well,
was thinking.
Fall from grace of Lucifer.
Ah.
The revolt against
Okay,
God
I'm
for
glad you
making
brought
man.
that up. I'm actually really... There's literally a scene in Legacy that I love where he's like in like, when he turns on them, right? Like, when he turns on Tron and Flynn, right?
Yeah.
Like, Kevin, right? He literally walks up and he goes, "Flynn! Was I not created to make the perfect system?" And it's Jeff Bridges, right? He's the dude from fucking Big Lebowski. So his reaction is just like, "Yeah." That's how he says it. "Yeah." And then, like, all these programs show up, and Kevin's not a fighter, right? So he's like, "Oh, fuck." And so Tron's like, "Go." And just whoops their ass. And Tron is the first program to come up with the brilliant idea of using 2 identity discs at the same time. Because he kills one of the programs and just grabs their disc, and he's like, "Oh, fuck, that's kind of cool." Right? So he uses 2 at the same time. Like, basically, if he punches somebody...
2 wallets.
Yeah, I've got 2 wallets now, right? It's like in My Hero when Deku realizes, "Wait, I can use my legs." Like, that's basically what happens. It's like, Tron's like, "Wait, if I have 2 identity discs, I can punch with both hands and de-res motherfuckers. Let's go!" So yeah, he basically is the first program to realize dual wielding. This will become a problem later, but we're not going to get there yet. We're not there right now. But yeah, and then later in the movie, he's like, there's this moment between Kevin and Clue, where Clue's like, "All I did was what you told me to do." Right? Like, you told me to create the perfect system. I saw the ISOs as imperfections. I wiped them out. I perfected the system. I did what I was programmed to do, what you programmed me to do. Right? And Kev's like, "Yeah, you're right. You did. And it's not your fault." that you're so twisted and evil. And he's like, twisted and evil, you motherfucker! Right? He's like, what the fuck?
Well,
I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, like, so from Clue's point of view, he's like, I did what I was told. And he literally asks, like, he gets emotional at one point. Like, why? Why do you hate me? And he's like, because that's my son. Right? Because eventually Sam enters the grid and Clue tries to kill him. And he's like, you're not touching my son. Right? Like, so like that, he's like, because that's my son. Right? Like, so Clue did do something wrong. It's not hashtag Clue did nothing wrong. We're not going there.
Clue did nothing wrong.
No, destroyed the ISOs. They were nice people. Like, no.
Yeah.
He was
This
told
is the mythology of Lucifer, because Lucifer, in his revolt with the other angels against God, was all based on the idea that humanity was an imperfect creation. It was too chaotic.
Yes.
It was lower than the angels. And Lucifer saw that as a personal affront to God and decided that he was the enemy of humanity. And for that kind of pride, for that offense, he was cast out of heaven with his rebel angels. This is definitely that myth in action.
I will say the only reverse of it, because it is very much like Paradise Lost, right? Legacy is what if Paradise Lost was Cyberpunk, but like the only thing is it is reverse. So like Clue does take over the system, like he does take over the grid, right? And it's actually Flynn and Tron who are like exiled, and when that moment happens, like when he first turns on them, Flynn and Tron never see each other again. Because, well, they kind of do. We'll get to it. But, like, so Kevin is, like, not a fighter, so he just runs, right? Because Tron tells him, like, get out of here. And Kevin sees Clue take his identity disc and bring it down on top of Tron, seemingly killing him, right? We find out later he did not do that. But that's what Kevin thinks. So they like never see each other again, right? And it's really sad. So like they go into exile. So it's actually in this, what if Lucifer won and God went into exile? Like that's
what if Lucifer won?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. So it's but there's still the resentment of like, I did everything you told me, and he's like, yeah, you did. Like I like that Flynn does not put all the blame on Clue. He's like, yeah, you're right. I was so blinded by my need for perfection, I didn't see the beauty in these imperfect things, right? You are me. He tells him like, you are not wrong. You're just me before I realized that I was wrong. Because he created, he's a clone essentially of Flynn, right? But only thinks in that way and can't learn anything. He's just a program. Right? So he's like, you are me when I created you, so and you never learned the lesson. Like it's
the
not
evolution
your fault.
did not follow.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't realize what perfection could be. Exactly, yeah, like I didn't realize that. So you never could. Right? Like it's like Flynn and Clue and Tron are like a really interesting like dichotomy. They are not the main focuses of Legacy, by the way. They are not the point of Legacy. Like this current grid, it's actually Sam, his son, but like they're just the more interesting parts of the movie. Speaking of Sam, Flynn's son Sam would arrive on the grid in 2010, essentially like many decades later. Together with Sam and Cora, Flynn takes down Clue and Rinsler, the reprogrammed Tron, and gets his son and Cora out of the grid at the cost of his own life. Once outside, Sam backs up and deactivates the Tron system, leaving its current status in limbo. So Sam enters the grid because him and Alan Bradley, the guy who Tron is based off of, believe that maybe his dad is in the grid. At this point, Sam is technically the CEO, kind of, but he's like an absentee CEO of the board because his dad was the CEO. I don't think that's how business works. I don't think it's like a monarchy that you could just like pass down to your son. I don't really think that's how that works. But like that is kind of like the general
idea.
Owns
the company.
Was that?
Unless he like owns the company.
He does. So Kevin does own the company.
Could be.
Yeah, like he becomes a CEO and owns it. Yeah.
Okay, so it could be a
share.
hereditary thing. Okay, yeah. So he's CEO via majority share.
Yeah, he's CEO by majority share, so it is technically his company. At the end of the film, Sam, who's been very absentee, so Sam actively fucks with Encom because he doesn't like the rest of the board, so he like will go out of his way to like blow any opportunity for them. He's very like a hands-off CEO. He doesn't like them. The bad guys from the first movie are also still on the board, so he's like, fuck you guys. You kicked my dad out of a company that he ran, right? Because in the first movie, there's this dude who basically stole Kevin's ideas and said that they were his, and that's why Kevin's pissed, because they kicked him out of the board when it was really his ideas, and then he tried to say that he was robbing him. He's the bad guy's called Dillinger. Dillinger's not important to the story. Like the bad guy, yeah, the main bad guy in the first movie is called Edward Dillinger. He is not important to this. But yeah, so basically Sam finds out that his dad might still be alive from Alan. Him and Alan go to Flynn's. Sam touches a button, and the cannon, this like laser thing that like sends you into the grid, hits Sam. He goes into the grid, meets Cora, the last ISO, and his dad. They have like a fun adventure. The guy from Twilight's there for a hot second. He's awesome. He plays a character called Zeus. He's great. If you like Twilight and you like Aro specifically, he is in this movie. He is great. What is his name? I forget his name. He's great though. Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen is in this movie, and he's awesome. But yeah, so eventually they meet this character called Rinsler, who dual wields, and you're like, who the fuck is Rinsler? Because he's like, all he does is like, he has this like growl that he makes, right? And you're like, who is Rinsler? Like, he's just like this top guy with Clue. It's Tron. So Clue did not kill Tron. He reprogrammed Tron. Yeah. So Tron, now, yeah, like, there's a TV show that's set in between where you find out Tron actually got away, but eventually would fall and become Rinsler, right? Unfortunately, Disney also canceled the show before we could see him fall. Thanks for that. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's still a really good show. But yeah, so Rinsler is Tron. Tron does eventually come to his senses, where we start to realize, like, oh, can programs like think and feel, right? Because like Kevin looks at Rinsler in like, it's the only time they reunite. Like, they're both flying light runners, right? Those like planes.
Yeah.
And they look at each other from the cockpit, and he goes like, Tron, what have you become? Right? And Tron's like Rinsler goes like, what the fuck? But then he finally talks when Clue's like, finish the game, right? Rinsler turns on Clue and runs into him with his light runner and just shouts, I fight for the user, which is like his catchphrase, and then he blows up and like, Tron doesn't necessarily die. He falls into the sea of simulation, and we see his light go from red to blue again. Right? So we're like, oh, okay, is he like alive? I don't like, we're like, his status is currently unknown. Doesn't matter, because again, when Sam gets out, he just deactivates the Tron system. It doesn't end the system, it just stops it. It like puts it in limbo. Like, imagine everything froze in time.
It's like when your computer's turned off, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. It just stops, right? So we don't really know what's going on with the Tron system. We don't know if it's like even still around, what's going on with Sam and Cora. Because Cora is a program, but she actually gets to see reality. Like, they both get out together. So Cora is technically the first program to break into reality, right?
Okay, so programs can come to reality.
Yes, they can. Which actually brings us very nicely to what's next for the series.
Oh, well, what is next for the series, Athena?
Tron Ares, but of course. Look how cool that poster is.
Oh,
very cool.
Coming out October 10th?
October 10th. Hell yeah. And there's no going back. So, the next installment, I think I spelled installment wrong. Maybe, I don't know, is there 2 L's in installment?
I'm dyslexic. I couldn't tell you if you'd even spelled any.
There's 2 L's, okay.
Right.
I spelled it wrong. It's fine. The next installment in the series will be releasing later this year, titled Tron Ares. It follows a new program named Ares, who is sent away from the grid into the real world, where the real world will come into conflict with the grid for the first time. As of right now, it's unclear if Tron, Alan, Sam, or Cora will return, but we do actually hear the voice of Kevin Flynn in the trailer. So even though Kevin died at the end of Legacy, to save Sam and Cora, we hear him in Tron Legacy. He is talking to Ares at some point. So now the thing that I've realized when I watched it back that I didn't have time to include into this, it is made pretty clear that another Dillinger is in this movie. So the Dillingers are like the main villains of the Tron series. The new Dillinger is named Julian, and he's played by Evan Peters, who was like Quicksilver.
Oh!
I love Evan Peters.
Yeah, I do
of
too.
American
I
Horror
love
Story
that
fame.
guy.
Yeah,
Woo.
Evan Peters is in the new Tron movie. I'm very excited for him, especially since he might be like a anti-hero, because I don't think he's necessarily going to be like... I think they're going to try to redeem the Dillinger family with Evan Peters. Like, I think his character is going to be like the redemption.
I
Also,
like that.
Cillian Murphy was in Legacy as a Dillinger. He was Edward Dillinger Jr. He does fucking nothing at all. He's in 2 scenes and does nothing. It kills me because I'm like, Cillian Murphy? You put Cillian Murphy in this movie and you didn't do anything with him? Reminds me of like Batman, where I'm like, why is he here? Like, it's Cillian Murphy.
When
Like-
he makes his one cameo with Scarecrow in like the Dark Knight Rises, and then
Yeah.
it's done.
And I'm like, what a waste. It's Cillian Murphy. Right? But yeah, so anyway, Evan Peters is in Tron. And my guess is that this new Dillinger has been creating grids, because if you look really close, you'll notice the identity disc on the back of Ares there is not a circle, it's a triangle, which is not the grid that, like, that's not like the grids that we've seen before. So, like, based off what I'm seeing, not to mention the fact that the grid is all red, that the grid that Ares comes from is all red, not blue. It's very like, this is a grid that a Dillinger made. Like, this is like Evan Peters' character made a grid, but because he's like, and I theorize that this is not the first time he's done this, because we're seeing grids from like in the video games, which again, I know I said that they're supplemental. They really are. But like the video games seem to like are all set on different grids, but we don't really know who made them. That part's kind of a mystery. So I
so
theorize
the Dillingers might have made the extra grid.
Yes. Yeah, I theorize that this Dillinger comes from a different company that's trying to make their own version of the grid. But it's like corrupted, right? So Tron, or not Tron, Ares comes from a grid without Tron, without Kevin, and without Clue. Like, without the pillars that made those like grids like succeed. So he is like from a dark grid. We don't know what his purpose is in the real world, seemingly to maybe stop a invasion that he seemingly fails to stop, right? Because the programs are in the trailer, the programs invade the real world, and it's the first time the real world comes in contact with a grid, right? And it like, they are hopelessly outmatched. Because again, programs are basically a stock standard Power Ranger, right? Like, imagine a Power Ranger versus you. You would get your ass kicked, right? Now imagine their tech versus you, like versus your tech. You'd get your ass kicked, right? So the programs could easily wipe us out, and that's why you've tried to stop them in the last 2 movies, but in this movie, they got out. And like, how do we deal with it? So I'm so stoked for Tron Ares. I think it's going to be so good. End of line. Any questions?
In the media that we have seen of Tron,
Yes.
have we ever witnessed it beyond being mentioned that these, because effectively it is a service and a product, have we ever had the evidence that it has ever gone out of closed beta, effectively?
No. So there was like, I had theorized that like for a little while that Sam might have like made the grid open source, like everybody could make a grid, but I don't think Sam would do that, right? Because it's like, that's unsafe. Because again, like, you could have situations like this where programs try to escape. So it's never been open source. So the only people who would have access to a grid would be people from within Encom, like the Dillingers, right?
So no customers.
No
is
customers.
Basically it. All right.
Yeah.
So in this entire time, like this entire span of the series, these absolutely revolutionary products and services have been in development, and they've never truly opened it up for business outside of the business tab.
So the only ones who know, like Encom doesn't even know that the grid exists, right? So the only ones at Encom who know about the grid was Edward Dillinger, like the original main villain, Kevin, Alan, Ram, who is like another character that I didn't really have time to introduce, Ram. He knew, I forget his name, but like they just codenamed him Ram. And then eventually Sam, right? But again, that's like, as far as we know, it's hinted at that Edward Dillinger Jr., Cillian Murphy's character, became aware of the grid because the original, like, so his dad was the original, like, human villain, but within the grid, there were two villains, the main one being the MCP. That's the big face you fight in Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, that big, scary face, the MCP. He's, like, the main computer villain. And he ends everything with end of line. That's why I put end of line at the end there. Right? So end of line is the way. I actually close streams with end of line now. Right? End of line. Right? So you see Edward Dillinger Jr., Cillian Murphy's character, talking to somebody, saying like, "Our time's coming, be prepared, end of line." You're like, "Oh fuck, the MCP's still alive." Right? So it's like, but how? Why? Seemingly we're never gonna address that. So maybe Edward Dillinger Jr. So the only ones who really know are the Flynns, their friends, and the Dillingers. Those are the only ones who really know. Like, the rest of Encom has no idea this technology exists.
The world doesn't know.
No, they have no idea.
It's never
this is the
gone
first
out
time.
there.
Yeah.
So it's just been this super revolutionary technology that's been in the work as a very hush-hush black folder program, effectively, in this universe for over 20 years.
Yeah, because even, like, the Flynn's, like, friends, like Alan, like the guy who Tron is based off of, didn't fully understand what it was. He didn't super know, like, what it was that Kevin was working on, because Kevin would not tell him, right? Like, what he was working on for the longest time. Because, again, Kevin wanted it perfect before he showed the world. So did Edward Dillinger. Like, he wanted it perfected before he, like, showed the world. So their need for perfection is the thing that made it so that they never released it. So the world doesn't know.
Look at that messaging.
Oh,
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Just
Crazy.
release the thing. Release.
We wouldn't
the
know
thing.
anything about perfectionism, would we?
No,
we
certainly
wouldn't.
not.
No.
Certainly not.
No, not us. Never.
No.
But yeah, that's the general vibe of Tron. That's it. What do we think? What are we thinking? What are thoughts, opinions?
It's cool. I really like how much I've learned about it beyond the first film and the first concept, because initial concept in the movie seemed very much just the seed of the idea of what if. Oh no!
Oh god!
Oh no!
Oh no!
He hit the wall! He
de-rezzed! Yeah, he
No!
de-rezzed! Oh no!
No!
This is so sad!
No, Santa!
Ah, Zanny! No!
Shit!
What happened? Hang on, let's...
Oh, it must be bad because he's out of the call too.
Yeah, oh
Otherwise he'd
god.
be yelling.
Oh god, he really
Shit.
did de-res. Oh my god. This is so sad. Wild Dio. Can we get some Wild Dios in the chat in memory of Zanny, please?
Shit, the internet must have lapsed for a second.
Yeah, I think that happens for Zanny on occasion. Yeah. Could we get some Wild Dios? Get some Wild Dios, thank you. Yeah, he de-rezzed. This is unfortunate. But I'm glad that you feel like a better understanding of it, Nick. That makes me happy. I like talking about Tron a lot, so.
I'm very bored in chat did bring up the Tron Legacy ARG, which I did not know about. What do you know?
Okay, I was gonna say this is a good overlap actually. I kind of forgot about the ARG. So leading up to Tron Legacy, there was an ARG that actually is referenced in the movie.
Shit.
There's this thing called Flynn Lives, which was this movement that the general populace did not believe that Kevin Flynn died. That something happened, something went wrong, right? So they there was this ARG to try to find Kevin Flynn, right? And to try to discover the grid, right? Like as a regular person. So maybe regular people did find out, because if we are meant to be like those characters in the story, a lot of people did figure it out, right? Like, okay. So it could be that maybe like a handful of real people like knew, right? So that is a possibility. But yeah. So that is pretty cool. Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right. And I'm Barry Board says you go looking for Flynn. I participated near the end. Did it do full on ARG stuff where you
like
literally
kinda
go out into the field?
No, I don't think it ever got that far. Like it was mainly just like all online.
Got it.
But yeah, so it is. Yeah, but it was cool though. Like it was pretty cool. I didn't find the package at the end, but I got the Kevin Flynn lives pin. It's my prized pin. It's like the whole, like the whole thing is like, like it's. Hey, wait, there were actual coordinates around the. Were there? I don't remember like a real life component of it, but that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, people don't talk about the ARG enough. It was very like trippy and interesting.
ARGs are not talked about often enough in general, so that's okay. That's under the umbrella. Still working on it.
It was at around the. I think this was actually like, because this would have been 2010. Oh,
he's back.
He's back.
Light wall. I hit a light wall.
Yeah. Oh, he de-rezzed.
It's okay. You're back.
Yeah.
You're back.
You
Everything's
re-rezzed? Okay now. Oh my.
Yes, I've re-rezzed.
Resurrected.
Yeah, you resurrected. Wild Dio.
Wild Dio.
Wild Dio.
Wild Dio.
Yeah, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
All right, let me get back invisible again for you. Yeah. Just do your thing while I do the thing.
Understandable. But yeah, by the way, I asked these two lovely boys if they had questions, but chat, do you have questions? Anything that you want to ask about Tron? I am fairly knowledgeable about Tron. I'd like to consider myself like a pretty big Tron fan, obviously. But I don't feel like I can go so far as to say I'm like the lore master of Tron. You know, like there are things that do kind of escape my vision. Like, I haven't played the visual novel that came out that's set in, like, a different grid. There is a game coming out that I'm excited to play. It's a roguelike Tron game, so that should be really cool. Are there Tron animals? There are no animals in Tron. Unfortunately not. There's a visual novel? Yes, it's called Tron Identity. And it is actually in the same world as the upcoming roguelike game, so it'll give you more info. The games are very much their own thing because they're set in a different grid. But again, I have the theory that they're all connected.
There's a VR game too, isn't there?
Is there? I don't. I think there might be. Hang on, let me check. Because I don't want to say for sure and be wrong. Tron VR game. Let's see. Tron VR. Oh, there was. Yeah. So there was a Tron game, but it looks like it was mainly just like a. It was just like a light cycle thing, or no, yeah, it was just like I don't think there was a plot. I think it was you drive light cycles and throw discs, which to be fair is pretty cool. So I'm not gonna knock that.
Yeah, I mean, actually having a VR game for Tron in general is legit. Here it is. This is except for the physical sensations. This is literally it. Is it? This is it. Here you
made
go.
it. Yeah, you made it. Congratulations. Yeah. He's so tiny.
Oh no.
Oh no! Size difference. Size difference.
He's growing up so fast. There we go.
Size difference.
No. Now you're the same size. Now you're the same size as us. Wild Dio. What do you think of Tron, Zany?
I think it's interesting. I think it's a franchise with a lot of potential that hasn't been given enough love to flourish.
I think it needs the love. I think it hasn't. Because Disney only jumps on projects that they know will strike, right? Like that it's like, okay, this will do well. Although I say that the live actions are canceled, so that's a thing. Maybe you could take the budget you were putting into the live actions and put them into Tron since you're not using them anymore.
I think that Tron is symptomatic of a greater issue within the film industry, and it's one I've seen several times. The insistence to only go into products that you know are going to hit is something that is inherently damaging to your film catalog of what you can offer. Because yes, it's fine jumping on films that are good right now, and we've seen it with how hard Marvel's been hit again and again with it. That was the golden goose of Disney for like many years. However, that's come at the issue of them taking resources and not putting them into developing separate franchises to then take over once the sort of golden goose at the time has run its course. We've seen now that Marvel films have started to not do as well. The IP value has been cheapened a lot, mostly by Disney Plus, and also just terrible directing. And I think that we can see that there's kind of a lack of back catalog in regards to them having developed new potential franchises, new movies that they can maybe spin off that are separate from there and allowed to take over, and then just allowing sort of like Disney to rest a little bit as a legacy franchise before regaining steam and going back into things. Or should I say Marvel as a legacy franchise and going back into things. So because they've ended up in this position, it's why they're tipping into live action remakes of classic films as hard as they are. They're hitting the nostalgia card,
Hollywood is a deeply skittish system. It's really, people on the inside and those who study it have said it again and again, is that it's not truly lack of belief in new stuff so much as it is fear and old guards being more fearful in their old age. God, what was it? Somebody told me recently. Who the hell was it who told me? But screenwriters now, there are people who are not being hired as screenwriters or their screenplays short of age 40 and higher. Because that's how skittish they are, is that they literally do not trust people in their 20s and 30s, even though they have the actual pulse of what is happening and what can hit. That's how bad it is.
There is a genuine, well, and again, it's what we were talking about earlier with when Nick, when you asked like, okay, how come they never released like the grid to the public? Like that seems strange, but it was this like, no, it has to be perfect. Like it has to like fire on all cylinders. It can't be like it can't not be a mistake. Like it has to work. But it's like that fear of not wanting to have a bomb is very indicative of where we are right now. And I would love to see Disney just be like, you know what? Tron is gonna be our franchise that is our like mid-card player, right? This is not the top guy. This is not Star Wars. This is not like Marvel, but maybe one day it could be that. But for right now, it's just gonna be like this mid-card player we sink some money into when we have it. A double-A film, like it's like this is where we're gonna comfortably sit and throw some cool ideas out, and that would be cool. I would love that. I always thought Flynn was the equivocal exchange for Korra. What do you like in which way? I'm not sure I understand. But like, yeah, it's anyway, somebody did ask before I forget. Somebody asked like how many Tron things there are. There's really not like a whole lot. There's like a lot of like kind of silly nonsense stuff, right? Like little comics here and there that like are supposed to be like the film, where it's like, oh, we're gonna do like this comic that recaps the movie or something. Right, so there's a lot of silly stuff like that, but the main ones are the first Tron movie, Tron Legacy, which is the second one. There is no manga. So Tron Ares is the third one. Then there is there is a comic book that is there's a comic book that's set during the time when Tron, Kevin Flynn, and Clue were all still working together and were friends. It's actually where we see like the grid bugs be a problem. Then there is some video games. There is Tron 2.0, which was a sequel to the original Tron before Legacy. So the Tron 2.0 is no longer canon. Then, of course, there's the Kingdom Hearts stuff. Tron Evolution, which is also set in between Legacy and the first Tron. There's a lot of stuff set in that in-between point. So Evolution is set just before Clue takes over. And it's a pretty cool video game. You get to do basically everything that you want to do in a Tron game. It's just a little bit repetitive in its action, but I still recommend it. Then there was Tron Runner, which is an endless running game that I play when I'm bored. It's really fun. And then there was Tron Identity, which is the visual novel. That just came out, and eventually we're getting Tron Catalyst. So yeah. And there is the TV show Tron Uprising, which also takes place in between Tron and Tron Legacy, like everything else. So yeah, Tron Uprising is about a new program named Beck, who tries to... he's actually played by Elijah Wood, which is pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah, and he tries to be the new Tron in the absence of Tron, but we find out that our Tron is not Rinsler yet, and is actually kind of fucked up and is helping Beck become the new Tron. So it's like Batman Beyond, but in Tron. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay. But yeah, so so a handful of video games, 3 movies, and a TV show.
In the current moment,
Yes.
Tron, the Uncorrupted program, I guess, is just kind of sitting as a backup.
Sorry, Tron. So Tron, like in as we know him, we have no idea what's going on. Like Tron,
Because he fell into the data sea.
yeah, he fell into the sea of simulation, which we saw his lights. The reason why people don't think he's dead is because we never saw him derez. Like we never saw him like fall. When you derez, you literally fall apart. Like you turn into these little data cubes and fall to the ground in like shattered glass. It's like really fucked up.
Are you like alive as that's happening? Are you like?
Yes, we see a program in Ares like screaming as it's derezing. It's pretty gnarly. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And like when they scream, their voice is like "Arr!" like gets all glitchy. It's really freaky. They feel it when they die. Like it really hurts. As dying would hurt. But
yeah, right.
Yeah. But yeah, so Tron as we know him, we have no idea. Well, and Tron Ares is still called Tron, so people are like, is he in this? I kind of don't think so. Like, I kind of don't think we're going to see Tron, because he's on the Tron system, which was deactivated, right, and put onto a USB, right? So Sam has the Tron system. I don't know if he ever, like, reactivated it or not. Because, again, this seems like Ares seems to come from a different system. Maybe, because, again, we hear Kevin, so there's the possibility that maybe Evan Peters' character copied the Tron system. So maybe Tron is in that system, and so is Kevin, and that's why they're both alive in this other system, because they're copies. But we don't
Can you
fully
just
know.
copy like that?
You can, yeah.
Okay, easy.
Yeah, you can.
That's a little freaky to think about, is if
Yes.
Sam is going to encounter, oh, that's a copy of my dad.
Yeah,
who's dead.
you're supposed to
That's
be dead.
right.
Yeah, you
That's-
died. Yeah. Because, like, it's interesting because, like, can you copy a user, right? If a user is on the grid, can you copy a user? I know you, like, programs, that makes sense. A user, right? Because technically, Kevin was on the grid for a long time, right? So his data should still be in
Right.
there. So can you copy it,
Yeah.
right? That's
What
yeah.
about a copy of a copy of a copy? Like, could you just like how
would you,
how
would
long
you
can
start to
cop-
like
would you-
deteriorate?
Yeah, like would the programs you copy like 18 times over and over again start to deteriorate?
That's
Like, what
yeah.
about like with an actual computer? Like, if there's a crash or something like that, is it possible to save a snapshot of a program?
I would assume, all right. So like, but what happens to that destroyed grid? Like, do they all just derez and die? Like, what happens?
Right.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of questions that are like fun to like ponder on as like a Tron fan, you know. Spades, thank you for the gifted membies. Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of that
I-
question of consciousness versus matter, and then the idea
Yes.
of data, which is a construction made of matter, which is like a second layer of reality that's been created here.
Yes.
It's a lot of super heady shit.
But that's why I like Tron, because it's like there's so much like heavy questions, you know. And I'm glad that everybody seemingly had a good time. You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I loved this.
yeah, hell yeah. I thought over time as a user, you would turn into Data, but maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Maybe. I mean, like, because like that is a possibility that maybe like the longer you spend on the grid, the more like your like identity becomes tied to the grid, right? Because it's not like Kevin couldn't return. The reason why Kevin couldn't go home is because if he tried to activate, it's like this big beam. You would see it from the city, and Clue would just invade and then go to the real world. Because Kevin's the only one with the key, right? So he was just waiting. He's like, you fucking open that gate, and I'm going into the real world instead of you, right? Like that was the plan, right? He was gonna perfect the next system, which was Earth, right?
Well, it would then stand to reason if we were trying to figure out how it works, then physical matter through the process of the beam is then brought back and forth into Data and then back into physical matter, which then the idea behind it would be if you're a user, you have an additional element of your consciousness attached to it.
That is Data.
So then if it's just Data then that's being copied over, it might not necessarily be consciousness, or maybe it is a potential for the consciousness to activate through another vessel.
Yeah. Like, did you die when the beam hit you and sent you into the grid? Like, is that still you, or is that just repurposed matter and Data? Like,
which is now putting us in Soma territory.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
back.
what makes
it's not
you
Soma? I can't go back to Soma.
Yeah. But this is why, like, I also think it's why Disney didn't want to play with Tron for a long time, because they're like, this is too heady. Because the movie does ask some of these questions, right? Like, there's this big monologue from Kevin halfway through Tron Legacy, where he talks about the fact that like the ISOs, since they just kind of spawned into being, they are these new creatures, right? And he stopped caring about the grid as much because his gift to humanity was going to be the ISOs. I think I said that during the lecture. But the reason why is because they are essentially perfect beings, right? So they were Data, but they were also bioorganic, right? So they could cure illnesses and disease in our world, and they were meant to be Kevin's gift, right? Like he was going to give the world, like humanity, the ISOs, not in a like take them and abuse them, but like look at these creatures and how they could help change our world, because they can like cure disease. We could all become ISOs essentially, right? They as Kevin calls it, bio-digital jazz, man. That's what the ISOs were. Bio-digital jazz, which is the funniest way to put it. Because again, it's Jeff Bridges and he's just playing the dude, right? So yeah, he's just the dude in a computer program and he's awesome.
The dude who learned JavaScript.
Exactly. Yeah, he's the dude, but he learned JavaScript. Yeah. He's very cool. He's like the ISOs are gonna be my gift to the world, Sam. Bio-digital jazz, man. Like that's literally the line. So yeah, they were.
Think about it.
Yeah.
ISOs are like the next step in evolution, man.
They were. They are now dead, right? Like they were. Only Korra remains now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Clue destroyed them all. It was very fucked up because you see it happen in the show. Like all the ISOs are like gathered up in this one area, and they're like, "What's going on?" Clue's like, "Nothing. Could you stand there for a second?" And they're like, "Yeah." He just like nukes them out of the sky.
Aww.
It's very dark. And then he hunted down whoever like made it. Korra is in the show. Like, yeah. Like she is like a character for like a hot second. But yeah, she's there if I remember correctly. I'm not finished with the show. Again, I was really into Tron when Legacy came out, and I loved Evolution, but I had put Tron on the back seat for a while, right? Because as much as I loved Tron, there was seemingly like no real sequel in place for like a long time, right? So I was just like, well, whatever. And like Tron 3 was always something that was like on the horizon. They always talked about it, but because I had heard about it for so long, I was like, oh, whatever. Like, I'll believe it when I see it. And then these projects start coming out. kind of like heating up the Tron fandom, right? I'm like, no, I will not fall for your tricks. I have been here before, right? Like, I am not getting back into the series unless Disney actually does a sequel. And then they're like, Tron Ares, bitch. And I'm like, oh shit, we're back.
I thought I was out, and they pulled me back in.
They pulled me back in. So now I'm going backwards, right? I'm watching Tron Uprising. I'm gonna play the visual novel. Maybe I'll play it on stream. Who knows? And I'm gonna play Catalyst when that comes out as well. I'm very like Tron is like, I just love Tron. It's so cool. But yeah. But boys, thanks for like hanging out with me and letting me like yap about Tron.
Oh hell yeah!
Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I'm glad that you guys didn't try to run away. This will be on the exam, by the way. So I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
Yeah. So question one.
Yep. I'm ready.
What is the name of this franchise?
Tron.
Congratulations, you passed the exam. Well done.
Let's go.
Well done.
Yay.
Well done. Excellent. But yeah,
100.
and also thanks to the BBs as well for joining us. Thank you very much.
Hi, BBs.
Hello.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Any last things you want to toss out there before we wrap up?
I'm playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure in like 12 hours.
Hell
13
yeah.
hours.
Hello Kitty Island Adventures.
I'm gonna be hanging out with Tagachama, Mary, and Roy in a few hours to do Monster Con. I have to
heard.
get a throat coat tee because they have Damien in it, which means I know
I
I have
love
to.
him.
I have to
Oh,
do my
he's-
Damien voice.
Oh,
in
God,
every
the
vocal
Damien
fry.
voice.
I am a huge,
Yes.
I am
Yes.
a huge Monster Prom stan. I love Damien. Damien Oz is like my OTP.
Okay, well, you know what to put on later for your side content.
I know. Oh.
But yes, Athena, I have to. You already know from my
Oh, I
times
know.
playing Damien what's ahead of
Yeah.
me, so I gotta slam the throat coat, cause God, it's gonna hurt.
The Damien voice was so great. Yeah, like, oh my God. Like, yeah, that's the Damien voice is great. I'm excited. I'm excited for both of you. I am. Especially the fact that you're playing Hello Kitty and then you're playing MonsterCon. I'm like, it just feels very fitting for some reason. Just like, yeah, Zanny would play Hello Kitty, of course. Yeah. This is good. Actually, let us go ahead and get a redirect going. I never remembered to do these, so
I don't know how to do that yet.
I
From the YouTube
forget
side.
every time. I always forget, and then
You go
I always
into-
feel like I end stream with like, you know, like the BBs are all tired, right? They're ready to go, and then I'm like, I don't want to like most of them dip out, and I'm like, I don't want to like send you guys to someone else and then just have you sleep. Like I feel bad, right? Like so. Hopefully you guys are down to watch some Knicks playing some Minecraft. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Thanks so much for hanging out, and maybe we'll see you again. Maybe for more Tron stuff. That'd be exciting. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.